Hello, and welcome to another Steel Division 2 Divisional Overview, and today we're taking a look at the 78th Sturm Division. It's a German infantry division that can Sturm. Oh god, they can Sturm a lot, with a lot of Sturmgewehrs. So let's see how well they are good at Sturming. So in terms of slots, you don't have a lot of Recon or tanks, but a lot in everything else, especially when it comes to anti-tank and infantry slots. You are an A tier Axis division, and you are technically mechanized. It doesn't really feel mechanized. It does feel like a slower infantry division, but I guess historically it was mechanized. So nonetheless, let's jump right into the Recon tab. There's not really much to talk about here. You got, well, Recon bike, Recon 2-man teams, Recon car with machine guns, a T-26, and Spar troops. There's nothing really all that fancy to write home about. I mean, we got T-26s. I don't think there's really many other divisions or any other division to have a T-26 in it, and that also I think belongs to the Germans, which is rather funny. It's not a great tank. It's pretty mediocre. But hey, you know, it's pretty important historically, as there were a lot of T-26s, you know, before 1942. But yeah, it's a pretty meh Recon tab. And in terms of Recon transports, nothing really much to write home about. The only one that actually is like an armed transport are the Kubel MGs. And they're pretty meh. They're pretty meh. So with infantry tab, we could spend time talking about all the infantry units, but really there's only 2 infantry units that matter in this division. And that's down here at the bottom. Schutzen and Sturm Schutzen. Schutzen are good at shooting. They can shoot a lot. As they're essentially a 13-man Panzer Grenadier team. You got 2 MG42s, a bunch of boat actions, an extra SMG, but instead of Panzerfaust, you got AT grenades. Not terrible. Well, you know, not as cool as the Panzerfaust. It will definitely kill anything if you do get close. So it's a beefed up Panzer Grenadier team, essentially. And the crazy thing is the availability, because it isn't like Panzer Grenadier availability, where it's like, you know, you get like 6 and then 12 and 18. No, this is Soviet level spam. You get 9, 15, and then 27. It gets pretty crazy the amount of shooting you can spam. They are pretty expensive at 35 points, but it's a 13-man MG42 team. They destroy stuff at, well, open ground engagements. And then you got Sturmschützen, which is the best infantry unit in the entire game. They really are. And it is a rather simple formula. Just give everyone assault rifles. 13 guys with 13 assault rifles. Nothing's really gonna have a good time on the other end. They just deal a ridiculous amount of damage from really any range. It's really quite silly how well these guys do perform. It's got a Panzerfaust as well, which is also pretty useful. This is just the best infantry squad in the game, hands down, bar none. You got 13 men, AT capabilities, and just crazy anti-infantry capabilities. And you get 4 Kaderschützen, and then 3 Sturmschützen. And Sturmschützen even have like pretty good availability, considering this is a rather, you know, high-tech squad, so to speak. I guess we take a look at a little bit of the other infantry options. You got some Mercenaries and you got your leader nonsense, you got some Sturm Pioneers, you got some Big Elite Grenadiers, which are also actually pretty good, and Big Elite Pioneers, which are also pretty good infantry units as well. They're nothing to cough up, or sneeze at, I should say. You could cough on them if you want as well, I'm not going to stop you. And then some Bavarians, Bavarians aren't, like, bad, but considering the other options, they're a lot of it mediocre, I have to say. But yeah, long story short, Sturm Schützen, you're just going to be doing lots of shooting. Tanks is really simple. It's just Stug, so we're going to be living the Stug life. With 78th, you got Stug 3Gs and Stug 3G Führers. Don't get a lot of them, but the Stugs are pretty reliable. They're decent. They're Stugs. Support is also pretty standard, nothing too crazy here. Now the cool thing is there's Field Police troops are now in the support tab, which makes them slightly less useless now. You still want to take flamethrower teams instead, Joe, because flamethrowers are pretty cool. You got a bunch of MG42 teams, which is pretty nice. You also have an option between the RSO munitions supply truck as well as regular Opel Blitz. The RSO does carry more for just 10 points more, which is pretty nice. But you get less availability, so... Or in A phase you get less availability. I guess in B phase it really does add up, because you get 15,000 supply for 4, while here you only get 10,000 supply for 4. So it's not bad. They're both pretty good transport truck options. Again, on the supply stuff, it's rather straightforward. And then you got IG-33. This thing's really good now, all due to the fact it has heat shells. And it's like an ISU. If it hits the tank, it's gonna be a very dead tank with trove damage and penetration. Nothing survives that, man. Nothing survives that. It puts a rather big hole in whatever you're shooting at. And it's still, like, pretty decent infantry support gun, because it does a whopping 7 HE damage, which will make, mincemeat out of really any infantry unit on the other end of this big bloody barrel. And then you got, like, commanders. Nothing really crazy to write home about here. But it's a pretty decent support tab. I mean, you got your IG-18s and IG-33s, which is really all that matters. Especially IG-18s, like, these lower cost support guns are always extremely useful to have, especially in A phase, as they just help, bolster your AT gun defenses to have a bit better high explosive capabilities and also shoot pretty fast. Like, infantry support guns are always cool in SD2. Anti-tank. You've got quite a few options here. You've got Panzerschrecks, you've got Panzerboisse, you've got bigger Panzerschreck squads. Pretty cool. You also have an option for Marder 2s, which are pretty decent for 50 points. It's actually 10 points cheaper in a pack, and it's mobile. You can't hide it in a forest. But that's not too bad. You can move it around, and it does have APCR cells, so it can deal with more heavily armoured Soviet tanks. Not great, because you've got to realise APCR cells only do 1 damage and penetration, while regular AP cells do 5 damage and penetration, meaning that there's less chance of the APCR shell making that T-34 go kaboom, but it might get a good critical hit, like killing the driver or gunner, for example. So, not bad. You've got a bunch of Pack 40s, which is awesome, and let's talk about the Rhinoceros in the room, and that being the Nashorn. This is the only division that has Nashorns available to them, and you also got Mr. Nashorn Nigel here as well. Nashorns are, we got to talk a little bit about Nashorns here. Nashorns are very good units when used correctly in a very niche role. It's essentially a mobile Pack 43, surprise, surprise. But the problem with the Nashorn, and the problem I see of a lot of players who play 78th Sturm, is that they try to attack with it. This is not an offensive unit. This is far, far, far from it. It doesn't have a machine gun. It has piss all for armor. The only thing going for it is it's got a really big gun. A very, very scary gun. The most powerful gun in the entire game. And it got a lot of ammunition for it as well. Seriously, you can shoot for days with the amount of ammunition that was within this bloody tank. So how do you use the Nashorn then? It's very simple. You only keep it in medium forest, and medium cover, like yellow cover, and it never leaves yellow cover. If you're going to move it to another place, it should be a place that you already captured, and you're just setting it up here to be another defensive AT gun position. Nashorns can be extremely good when using yellow cover, yellow light forest efficiently. Because here's what you do. You keep the Nashorn parked out of range so it can't see out of the forest. You see Soviet tank block move up towards you. You move the Nashorn forward so it gets line of sight. It shoots you a little bit and then you back out. You pretty much just do what they did in real life, where you only shoot for a little bit and then you bring it out. Because this thing has pistol armor, and everything in SD2, Tank Rise, has 2 kilometer range. They can shoot back. And even if it's an inaccurate gun, you have the poor armor means that you get stressed out, and open top means you get stressed out rather quickly. So you really don't want to be engaging in long engagements. Fortunately, with Pack 43, if you get, the few hits on, it's not going to be a very long engagement, as you will hit and you will kill whatever is on the other end of the barrel, which is pretty awesome. They're good units to have, Nashorns. Just for love of God, seriously, please, people, do not attack with them. Just don't. Don't do it. No. No. Anyway, you got National Nigel as well, which is the National one with a cooler paint job. This is in one of the loading screens, if you may notice. Looks like it should be in Africa, but... Well, I guess all rhinoceroses is really be in Africa in the technical sense. But, yeah. Cool National one. Even got a little emblem here. Yeah, and then you got one card of Pack 43s if you need to put a Pack 43 in the forest. There we go. Anti-air is pretty decent, but, you know, nothing crazy. 20 mils, 37 mils, flak villains in the back of a truck, and flak ATH. It's pretty good anti-air, but you just get 43 flak 43s and then flak villains on the back of a truck. Artillery is also pretty decent. You got 81 mil mortars, you got neighbor earthers. I don't really find neighbor earthers to really be worth the price investment. They're no longer like a Rowan ST-44, they're really good at just wiping out an area and then pushing. I just find it to be rather underwhelming, all things considered, with neighbor earthers. So I'm not really a big fan of them, personally. Got 105mm artillery, quite a lot of them, 120 mils, you got a few 150s, and one card of off-map 210s. It's a pretty decent artillery section. You got the 105s and 150s, which are really going to be your mainstay artillery guns. They got radios, they got a long range. It's a shame that you don't have any 100mm guns, which are more better for extremely long range, like counter battery fire. Well, that's not, you know, you can still make do with the 105s and 150s. You are playing Germans, all your leaders have radios, you're going to get accurate shots, goddammit. Air power, pretty good, but nothing like amazingly crazy. You got quite a lot of recon plane options. You got slow recon plane, you got not so slow recon plane, and then you got fast recon plane. They're recon planes, they're pretty good. You got Messerschmitt G6s and then G6R6s. Pretty decent standard German fighters, and you got a decent amount of them, and they come with rather nice availability options, so that's pretty good as well. Your only bombers or close air support planes you ever are only heavy bombers. You got JE-188 with a bunch of small bombs, or two very big bombs that, you know, will make big holes in the ground once they land and deliver their high explosive goodness. You're really just going to be using the tab for this division to just buy fighters, essentially. You're not really going to be using much close air support, and I don't really find the recon planes to be all that useful in general. Defense, yeah, you got barbed wire gun pitch trenches, you got a few pack 50mm bunkers. Yeah, that's really it, nothing really too crazy. So that was a quick overview of the divisional layout, so let's take a look at a deck that I built earlier. And this little deck I built earlier. Once again, the deck code will be in the description below, so let's just jump right into it. Recon, I'm taking two-man teams through the Kubel MGs in A and B phase. Reason being, as per usual, I like taking Recon Infantry with Recon Armed Transport, so I get double the Recon for my Recon cards. Kubel MGs aren't great, but, you know, it's something, at least. Infantry, it's really simple. We just get pretty much most of the Schuchen and all the Sturm Schuchens. We've got Schuchens in A phase, B phase, C phase. We've got Sturm Schuchens in A phase, B phase, and C phase. Pretty standard stuff. We've got some big League Grenadiers thrown in there. And yeah, that's really it. It's mainly the Schuchens, Sturm Schuchens, some leaders. It's pretty straightforward with 78. It works really well. And you get a lot of them. You're not going to be running out of Sturm Schuchens, that's for sure. Because we got bloody 36 Sturm Schuchens and God knows how many regular Schuchens. You're going to be fine. And this isn't just like 36 just regular infantry. It's just 36 of the best infantry in the game. You're going to be more than fine in long attritional games. And also I recommend with like, especially like Sturm Schuchens, you never really need the veterancy on them because they're so well equipped. You just kind of want the numbers. And as you can see, the veterancy really hinders the amount that you can get. It's just not really worthwhile, to be entirely honest. So just avoid that. Thanks, A phase Stunk, B phase Stunk, 1-star veterancy, because the Stunk veterancy is actually pretty worthwhile to take. Nothing too crazy. Support, IG-18s, some mobile blitzers in A and B phase. IG-33s and B phase, and then the Panzer II Commander in B phase. Pretty standard stuff for me, just going to be using the infantry support gun to support your infantry. Anti-tank. Well, Panzer Shreks in A phase, Pack 40 in A phase, and for Nashorns, we take one A phase, B phase, and C phase card. I highly recommend for the Nashorns, you never take them vetted. You really do not need vetted Nashorns. It kills their availability once again. And whether you're, new trained recruit using a Pack 43, or hardened veteran using a Pack 43, you still have a very good chance to hit with 60% base accuracy. The veterancy doesn't really help all that much with used guns. Technology does most of the killing for you. And B phase Pack 40 and B phase Pack 43 guns is pretty heavily armed AT capabilities. Yeah. Anti-air, mainly just Flak 43s and a card of Flak villains on the back of a truck. It's pretty good anti-air. It's gonna serve you well. Artillery, pretty basic, taking some 105s in A phase and B phase battery fuse for a bit of extra leader, because you only have 2 leader infantry cards. So let's try to use roughly a dozen infantry leaders, or leaders in general, 10 leaders in most of my decks. That's just a general rule of thumb I try to follow. In B phase, I take the 105s. I do take these ones with the munitions transport truck, just for a little bit of extra supplies. This is usually a rather artillery heavy deck. And then in C phase, I take the 150mm guns for a bit of extra heavy firepower. Air tab, A phase Messerschmitt, B phase better Messerschmitt. Pretty simple stuff. Like I said, you're really just going to be using the air tab for keeping the skies clear, using fighters and whatnot. So that's 2 cards of Messerschmitt is usually enough. And you got good anti-air, so it's not going to be a pain in the ass keeping air supremacy over your lines. So, overall, pros of this division. The big one is the SCG spam. SCG troops are the best troops in game. They're very powerful. They just win at really any engagement range that they can actually engage in. Even at close range against SMG troops, they actually do a very good job beating them out. Seriously. SCGs are probably a little bit too good, but frankly I have no idea how to really balance them, because at the same time, we are using assault rifles where most other soldiers are either using semi-automatic or bolt action rifles, so of course they're gonna be pretty good in that regard. Heavy AT of the Pack 43s and Nashorns. I mean, if there's an IS-2 on the field, you can kill it. You can very easily kill any armor that has brought up your raid, just due to the amount of heavy AT that you have available. Overall, the deck is also pretty solid. It's very well rounded. There's not really any major weaknesses to it. Yes, you don't get a lot of tanks and a lot of infantry, but you don't really, or a lot of recon units, I should say, but you don't really, don't really need that stuff. You do pretty good with just your infantry and anti-tank tabs, and artillery as well. It's just a very well-built, solid deck. And once again, SCG spam. I want to mention it twice because seriously, you just win every single infantry fight with 78th Sturm Division just due to the amount of Sturm Schützens and Schützens that you get. It's not even a contest, frankly. You just win infantry fights. Unless the enemy can bring in a bunch of artillery to counter your infantry in like town and forest fights, you're gonna win. You're just going to win. It's that bloody good. It's really that bloody good. The cons? Really the lack of heavy armor, or armored vehicles in general. The most heavily armored vehicle you have is the Stug 3. Not great, but definitely hurts in more open field engagements, as you want to be using your Nashorns and Pack 43s in forests, so you have to kind of work around that a little bit. And it's a bit of a slow division to push with. It is technically mechanized, but it doesn't really feel like it. You're still going to be rating on the infantry to clear the raid, and then you're going to move up your support guns and AT guns and all your more static equipment to get to the next line. This isn't a crazy rush division. Your infantry do clear out enemy positions extremely fast, because like I said before, your infantry is some of the best in game. But this is not a crazy rush division, I find. I think you can definitely make good A phase, B phase rush divisions with 78th Sturm. but I find them to work better in long games just due to the card availability that you get. Also, I should notice we are using balanced income just because it fits the division rather well. I don't really feel like you really ever need Juggernaut with this, as, you know, we got a lot of C-phase cards, but they're pretty cheap, and that's ones are only 90 points. You know, a lot of the infantry is going to be the, you know, the major spender here, but you don't really even need to get this many infantry, to be honest, because they're quality troops. Even without the veterancy, they're really quality troops, and not going to be running out of them anytime soon. It's not like a Soviet division where you want to get 5 guards of Strelky out to, you know, put a few, like, Panzer Grenadiers in a town. But yeah, it's probably 78th Sturm is one of the best German divisions right now, as this video is currently being, well, recorded. It's seriously great. It just wins, especially in 1v1. In all games, actually works pretty well. I'll take that back. In team games, it works because you've got the attrition and you've got the heavy AT to deal with tank spam, and the infantry as well just beats everything. But I think that's enough rambling about 78th Sturm, so let's see how they actually perform in a match. And we are back on one of the actually new maps that's been added in the recent update, that being Brest Rest, and that really rose off the tongue rather well. Nonetheless, however, we got AmberT demonstrating 78th Sturm versus her Robert playing 84 Guards Troll Loki. If we take a look at AmberT's deck, it is balanced income, and a few of the major differences is it's much lighter on Recon, really heavy C-phase infantry spam with those shooting. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of shooting. Bit more tanks, more MG supported in the support tab. Anti-tank is a bit more varied. Not as many Nashorns, using some Marder 2s, anti-air, mainly 20mm base. Artillery is pretty heavy, mainly just using 150s. And the air power tab is actually using one card of the JE-180H in B phase. So it's still pretty similar. It's still got the attritional warfare thing going for it. It's got a ridiculous amount of infantry. Not a lot of Sturm shootions, but I see more getting Big Leap Grenadiers and Big Leap Pioneers as well to help out. I believe it was oh, not Big Leap Pioneers, sorry. I mean, yeah, it's Mercedes Trooping. I don't know where I got Big Leap Pioneers from. But it's still, you know, it's a pretty good deck. It's pretty hard to build a bad 78th deck, because a lot of the baseline units are pretty top tier. It's not like other German divisions where you got a lot of trash, you know, reserve troops and reserve captured equipment. No, all of it's all pretty good. You just got, you know, some Mercedes Trooping here and a few T-26s, yeah. So nonetheless, on this map, this is probably a little bit of a harder map to deploy Nashorns on. That's the thing with a lot of 1v1 maps. It's actually pretty hard to use Nashorns effectively, because you want them to pretty much be a giant open field with no cover for you to cover with the Nashorn. So the Marder is definitely going to be a little bit more useful in the closer range. You can afford to lose them in those sort of engagements. But for infantry, this is perfect. Forests and towns, I mean, you run every infantry fight really with your infantry options. So any good place for infantry is a good place for you when playing 78th. You've got a lot of hills and high ground to worry about, or to manage. You actually got a pretty good side here, because you can actually put AT guns along this ridgeline, cover this entire area. And kind of the same thing over here. You can get a pretty good sight line on these reinforcement roads. So yeah, 84th is also a pretty heavy infantry spam division. They got a lot of guard DP squads, which are actually pretty good. They are the Soviet squads with the AT rifles and 2 DP machine guns, and also IS-2s. I got a few IS-2s. Fortunately, you're playing in a division with the most Pak 43 guns in it. That's including Nashorns. So you're gonna be pretty fine guard against IS-2s. They're really not much of a threat as 78th. It's not like playing other German divisions that don't have anything largely on a Pak 40. Speaking of Pak 40, one already being deployed on the right hand side, and it's just got lovely coverage over that road here. The high ground definitely benefits this southern side, I have to say. You know, to be fair for her, Robert, it's got a lot of forest and whatnot he can cover in as well. And over here we got some big league grenadiers coming into the forest. They're also pretty scary to go up against. Their machine guns and G43s to help augment the STGs. I guess the G43s is actually a little bit of a downgrade compared to STGs, to be entirely honest. They do have slightly longer range, but no. Assault rifle kind of beats out semi-automatic rifle and close range engagements. And it's pretty easy to get close range, especially when you're flying over forests and whatnot. The nice thing about the STGs compared to SMG troops is like, the extra 200-meter range makes a huge difference, because when you're going through light forests such as this, you're not going to get within 100 meters very easily. There's a huge, like, 50, 60 meter gap before those SMG troops can get into SMG range. And in those 60 meters, you just make mincemeat out of those troops. Same flamethrower troops as well, or troops with satchel charges, molotovs, etc. You just beat them. It's only like really heavy forests when they do have a chance to get a jump on you. But even then, it's usually a pretty even fight, because STGs are pretty good at close range. As you can see, AmberT, he's not really getting a crazy offensive position. He does have the flag advantage, though. But he's just slowly pushing. You're mainly going to be leading with infantry 78th, so you're really just going to be going at an infantry's pace, all things considered. But you got really good infantry, so it's not a bad thing. The pack guns just covering, and over here the big leads are just slowly moving up. Yeah, that's mainly use of AT guns and whatnot, covering everything, getting some Mercedes trooping and shooting on the right hand side here. Probably a little bit ballsy of his shooting position, but he doesn't load in the nick of time. Gonna return fire, and yeah, that's a dead 45mm. Yeah, we've got the guard DPs here, but you beat guard DPs even though guard DPs are pretty good. You got better machine guns, you got more guys, and there's also a bunch of guys, angry Germans, assault rifles creeping on in. Yeah, it's this pretty steady push so far here from AmberT. It's actually meant to capture a lot of ground on this left-hand side here. Not really many troops, just this one shooting squad man's on the capture, and a rather easy flag. In the middle here as well, the shooting are also moving up. Well, hello Robert rather, he has managed to make a little bit of progress down through the centre area, as his 1IS2 is doing a pretty good job covering. AmberT doesn't have adequate AT at the moment to deal with it. He is bringing out Nashorn. And you notice he isn't, he's going to be putting it in the light forest cover. You don't bring it out in the open, you keep it in cover. You always keep your Nashorns in cover. On the right hand side there, her Robert's actually making pretty decent progress, but that's just due to the fact AmberT doesn't really have much here. He's bringing out a bunch of MG42s to help remedy that situation. And MG42s can solve not all, but a lot of situations. Robert using a pretty good use of air power to try to beat back AmberT's infantry. When fighting against the 78th Sturm, really your best bet in infantry fights is just don't engage and blow them up from orbit. Use artillery, use air power, use support guns. Because fighting them mano to mano, it's not going to be a fair fight for you. You really do need to fire support to beat 78th in those infantry fights. Over here, you can see Suchin fighting the guard DPs. The guards do have better cover, so they are actually doing a rather good job. Well, it's a pretty, slow fight, but they are winning that engagement. And Nashorn here, AmberT, he's got it in a defensive position so far. I wonder if he's going to try and move it up to get a sneak shot on the IS-2. And we've got even a Soviet field gun here, getting some good artillery hits on AmberT's infantry. His infantry is a little bit spread out, doesn't really have any fire support covering infantry support guns. The AT modder here is a little bit far back, but it's got good coverage on the hill. Left hand side, however, 78th Infantry beats all, as we clearly see. Notice he's not moving up the stunk, he's keeping it back, which is, you know, God Fury, now it's a very good idea, because there's a guard squad here, some RPG grenades that has that Stug's name on it. Everyone's ready to clear out the infantry before moving up Stug, which is a smart move. And how Robert's going to be bringing out a tank destroyer Su-76 to try and deal with that. Yeah, I mean, 78th Sturm is very simple to play, as you can see. You really just spam infantry, you win the infantry fights, and then you bring out your AT guns and support guns to, you know, cover the area you captured. It's a very tried and true formula that works. You're not going to be doing crazy russes, crazy pushes. Just infantry play, AT gun play. That's all it is in the end of the day of 78th Sturm. It just helps that you have some of the best infantry and AT guns in the entire game. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. For 78th it is. Yeah, I mean AmberT he has all the time in the world really. Slowly gaining that +1 point advantage, 13 to 11. Sug not having a good time against infantry support gun. I see he gets killed by it. It was a shame. And also his air power, actually doing some pretty good damage here on the left-hand side. Definitely wants to try to bring out some airplanes, like his Messerschmitt and some anti-air a bit closer to help out. Yeah, he's not going to be going after IL-2, don't want to risk it. He only has 3 planes in his deck, so he definitely want to be rather defensive with him. Yeah, he still hasn't moved up National net, just waiting for the perfect time to strike. As if the IS-2 does manage to get an eye on that National, and I mean, it's pretty good chance National won't die. Like does get eyes on a Scarred Squad and is slowly shooting it to death. IL-2 comes in and actually gets the kill here. Yeah, it's the anti-tank plane IL-2. Yeah, very good kill. That really leaves AmberT's infantry a little bit unsupported now on that left-hand flank. In the middle, as you see, they're just slowly mopping up forces. Marder 2 Air not having a good time getting hit by his infantry support guns. The annoying thing with 78th is they don't have that much heavy armor, so really any and all AT guns are going to be scary to you. Not like you can just rip out a Tiger tank and laugh as Russian 45 mils continue to bounce. You got to be very defensive with your tanks. I don't just say AT guns, but really tank destroyers, as they're rather lightly skinned. Like I said, you're just going to be leading with the infantry, let them cover all the ground, and just keep the AT guns back and support guns back to shoot stuff at your infantry. See, the left-hand side, I mean, 2-star bumped up to 3-star. Big League Grenadiers. They're doing pretty well considering these guards are in a town. The Su-76 is going to give some fire support, and it is a pretty good fire support vehicle. I think not great, only 1 HE. Doesn't have the better HE damage. Yeah, I believe the artillery version has. But still not bad. It's going to be enough to beat out the big elites. Yeah, so that's a good play from her, Robert. Just you need fire support. I mean, he's getting a lot of it now. Getting the Su-76s, the F-22s, some T-34, a T-34 on that left-hand flank, and that's going to beat back AmberT on that area. Yeah, it's just AmberT's holding his spot. Nothing really too crazy. It's, like I said, 78th, pretty slow division, but it works. It just bloody works. It works really well. Who knew assault rifles would be the way of the future? Yeah, there's really nothing going on here. I wanna talk and commentate, but AmberT has got such a good position. You see, he managed to sneak along this hillside here and get a great defensive overview on this right-hand flank. And to ease things up a little bit. And here Robert mainly getting, you know, it's not buying so much in terms of infantry, but getting lots of armor and fire support. That's what you need to do to beat 78th. You need that fire support. Left hand side here, the big leads are holding, but you know, when there's armoured vehicles in the mix, they're not going to be holding for that long. We are seeing the first bit of artillery here from AmberT, some 150 mils. They're very capable guns. They make big kabooms. Big kabooms is always good. That's the rusting up his Ersatz troop, and very, very ballsy move. Probably not going to do that much because it is this Ersatz troop, and at the end of the day, the MG42s are the real main damage dealer on that flank. Now Sean engaging here. It's only engaging the infantry support gun. Did kill it though, so it's going to open the way for it to sneak up and shoot the to zoom in on here. There we go. It's going to get first shot. And as you see, you know, kills IS-2. 60% accuracy. You can't really miss with that sort of gun. And see, just one hit, blew it up, easy peasy. No nonsense. 43 is a very point and click. I guess every single AT gun in ST2 is very point and click. Because that's all you really do in ST2. All you're doing is point and clicking. Left hand push here with these T-34s. Gonna be make a bit of headway. The Marder 2 here doesn't have that good of a time as the T-34s do manage to get an eye on it, and because it is such a lightly armed vehicle, lightly armoured vehicle, get killed rather quickly. The AmberT just capturing all these flags on the right hand side. Definitely feels like he's losing quite a bit because of his big loss in the middle, but like middle right area. But he just has like, you know, slight good map control on his left hand side here. It's a real pain in the ass for her Robert to push him out because look at all this forest shit you have to fight over, and God, TPs aren't gonna be very good in such a fight. I mean, if 84th, to be fair, you do get those flamethrowers, Sappery, Scorch, if I recall, which are pretty good CQC, but you don't have enough to really beat out all those goddamn Sturm shootings and big elite units in this case. AmberT only has one guard of Sturm shootings in his neck, which I think is a little bit of a mistake. I think you should take all of them, as they're really good. As you see, things are working rather well for AmberT. He's just shooting array, regular shooting. His air power game is starting to get a little bit ridiculous here from her Robert. He's managed to get a lot of airplanes out, and AmberT hasn't really been able to punish him all that much. So now he might be able to. He's got, you know, a decent amount of AN left, but not gonna be enough, it seems, to kill the PE3, maybe IL2. Yeah, IL2 is probably gonna go down. He flew a little bit too close to the Hornet's nest. Maybe. Maybe at a armored chassis, armored frame. Yes, he can let it get out alive. Thank God for armor plating. Armor plating. Yeah, her Robert has managed to stabilize things a bit now. Really just uses heavy use of armor. His T-34 blob on the right hand side is making a little bit of headway, but there's a Pack 43 here. He is in the open ground, but there's a second Pack 43. He can just help out his buddy if he can get into a position. It's probably better for him to get up the hill and unload up here and then start shooting. But hey, what are you gonna do? Yeah, they're just gonna keep shooting T-34s. And yeah, this is where you try to keep it in cover. Fortunately, it only went for the stressed out Pack 43, not the fresh run. With just a few more shots, you should be able to mop up these T-34s. I mean, yes, he's taking veterancy, or morale damage, But 60% accuracy, it really doesn't matter. The gun just works by itself. Like, you'd think for 78 Sturm, you'd want to play it with all this high veterancy units. It's got all this high-tech gear, like Nashorns and STGs, and there's really only 2 super high-tech gear pieces, really. But you don't. The technology works by itself, unvetted. Works really well. Just get the numbers, goddammit. You just need the numbers with this division. Over here, the Shuchens are Shuchen array. And there, they beat out Guard TP's long range. T-34 ain't gonna help out because the crew has been killed. And the Nashorn, not great in terms of infantry fire support. I honestly recommend, personally, users turning off the HE cells on the Nashorn. I believe they only do 1 damage. Yeah, they only do 1 damage. It's not really worthwhile to expose the Nashorn for just, you know, doing 1 HE damage in infantry units. Especially because it is also such a light armored vehicle. Even artillery, heck, artillery can kill you with the Nashorn, so you really don't want to be shot by anything. You really don't want to be seen most of the time. To learn how not to be seen as a rhinoceros. Especially these days. At a 150, it's going to be doing pretty decent work. German artillery, they can get corrected shot bonuses with leaders. Yo, there's no leaders over here, so he isn't actually going to be getting any. A little bit of a shame, and he still was managing to hold onto his left-hand flank here. Just because of this hill. What are you going to do about this hill? You need to bomb it, you need your artillery at the hill before you can really take it, and there's a lot of angry Shuchens. And they're ready to shoot. Yes, it's just Shuchen spam now. Just good old Shuchen spam. We're in C phase. Robert has 54 Shuchen infantry units in C phase. Just in C phase. It's more than enough. That's more than enough Shuchen. These are those guys have 2 MG42s. That's a lot of firepower. That's a lot of DACA in Warhammer terms. Yeah, this is pretty much a cut and close match. I mean, as you saw, AmberT, this managed to hold like a good front line over Robert. Not like any crazy pushes in any flank, but just a nice steady, you know, holding like 60-70% of the map. Pretty even out, you know, pretty even front line. Pretty even push all over. That's how you play 78th. The infantry just works and everything else supports the infantry. It's a very easy division to play. It's really one of the best divisions to play, especially on I'd say it's one of the best divisions in game. It's just due to how well the infantry just win fights. It can be a little bit difficult if a newer player maybe microing those Nashorns around and whatnot, and maybe not having like easy heavy armor tanks to use. But Peg 43s don't miss. That's also pretty easy to use as well. In terms of, you know, kill score, only like a 500 difference. If we look at the kills here, we're going to look at German kills here. See, Nashorn did some pretty decent work. Actually, very spread out. Nothing really too crazy here. Everyone really did a little part here in the war fight and effort. And same thing for 84th. Everyone was a real team player. No real kill stealers, kill hogs, or anything like that. But yeah, that's 78th. It's a really easy division. It's very good. They're not hard to play. I honestly do think like the Shuchen and Sturm Shuchen spam definitely does need to be toned down in terms of a balance perspective, as it just makes you just win infantry fights. You cannot counter 78th in head-on infantry fights. Period. They're just very good infantry units. But if you are gonna fight them, and you might see them a lot if you're playing like quick play, just get a lot of artillery and support guns. You're just gonna need to use a lot of long-range high explosives to beat out the 78th. And you know, tanks also work as well. But yeah, I'm going to leave it off at that. This has been another Steel Division Divisional overview. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.